Good afternoon, good morning. It's Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we get to the top two, the leading agencies, technology partners, and consultants in customer channel and brand loyalty, about the technology trends and best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, enhance engagement, and drive customer loyalty. It allows for a little unique insight into the state of customer loyalty as we surface challenges in the quotidian existence of Loyalty360 that brands are having with regard to customer loyalty. And we're able to take these back to amazing partners that we have and to get their feedback, to get their perspective, also to understand kind of how they are helping their clients address these issues. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Matt Cates, who's the Senior Vice President of Strategy at Clarus Commerce. How are you, Matt?
Doing well today. Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to talking loyalty and sharing some of the insights we've gotten from our newest premium loyalty data study.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that study as well. First off, for those who may not know you, we like to start these on a more personal level to get to know you a little bit more and your current role within Clarus, maybe a background, and also maybe a fun fact that you have. Do you like to jump out of buildings? Do you have 14 kids? What do you have?
Sure. So I'm the SVP of Strategy at Clarus Commerce. As you said, I'm responsible for strategic planning, concept development, program design, and analytics. I've spent the majority of my career in the loyalty and marketing space, having previously served as the CMO of Price. The pleasure of being strategic architect for a number of loyalty programs, including Micro Rewards, Xbox Live Rewards. It's a great space. I love it. In terms of fun facts for me, thanks for setting the bar really high. I have done neither of those things. I think the most athletic thing I can throw out is I'm an avid runner. I've ran 4 marathons, but I also recently made the mistake of doing my first Tough Mudder just a few months ago and realized that that's very different than running a marathon. Ended up injuring myself and requiring foot surgery. So maybe that's why I don't jump out of tall buildings.
Big runner myself, but yes. So I'm sorry that you got hurt, but hopefully the recovery is coming along well.
Absolutely, part of the fun.
Excellent. So for Clarus Commerce, you guys do some amazing work in the industry. For those who may not know about Clarus, it would be great to get a background, what you guys do, how you do it, the industries you focus in, and maybe a client or two.
Sure. So at Clarus, we help both brands and agencies increase customer engagement and overall loyalty. We do this in several ways, ranging from promotions, which are great moment in time ways to engage and connect interactions over time, to end-to-end loyalty programs, including points-based and really at the forefront and leading the premium loyalty space, which is your paid subscription programs that have been growing in popularity. We focus obviously retail, CPG, entertainment, financial, really across a number of different industries, because the incentives that we offer drive that consumer behavior that major brands want to engage with. Clients range from Molson Coors to Pepsi to T-Mobile to Oriental Trading Company. So we're blessed by having a great range of clients that we get to engage with, but also a good range of clients across industries also gives us an opportunity to cross-pollinate learnings and help everyone grow in the space.
Okay, great. I know you guys just did a recent study regarding premium loyalty programs, how to keep your customers engaged when loyalty standards are high. Can you tell us why you decided to conduct a survey and what you thought you would find in the report?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the 4th year we've done this report. We surveyed 2,500 consumers to get their overall interest in loyalty, but also really drilling down into that subscription or premium loyalty space. So programs like Amazon Rewards, Restoration Hardware, Best Buy Total Tech. And the reason why we wanted to focus in this space is that there's been a ton of research out there on traditional loyalty programs, but this is a newer and growing area that consumers are really interested in. By growth, I mean, like when we first did this in 2019, 58% of consumers said that they were involved in a premium loyalty program. Fast forward a few years later, that's up to 72%. So growing in consumers' understanding and participation, and the value that it also provides brands. So we initially set it up 4 years ago because it was adoption was lower, it was new, there hadn't been a study on it. But the reason why we do it every year is to understand, like, are there any changes in trends and attitudes, acceptance? What's the relationship with traditional loyalty programs? Is it one or the other? Did factors such as the pandemic or supply chain issues, inflation change it? So it's one of those things that it's new and it's growing in popularity. So it's great to kind of track over time to see where the pulse of consumers and brands are at.
Okay. When you look at potentially how it's changing, since you've been doing it for 4 years, you probably had some predictions that you thought you were going to see in the report. How did you find kind of what you saw versus maybe the predictions, or what you maybe anticipated seeing in the report?
Yeah. So what I found most interesting is, well, first, just that it grew even in a year of contraction from with people, inflation and gas prices going up, that people are still willing to spend the money. So there was that growth. But what I found even more interesting that would have kind of went against what my guess would have been is where that growth especially came from. So we often think of, millennials, Generation Z as some of our most savvy, skeptical consumers. Will they be willing to pay that premium to participate in a loyalty program versus, getting things for free? And those are probably the two of the biggest groups, and as well as the biggest growth. So, overall, 78% of consumers said that they plan on joining an additional premium loyalty program over the next 12 months. So 78% overall. If we look at Generation Z, 87% said that they plan on joining one over the next 12 months, and that's up from 70% the year before. Millennials, 85% said they'd join. That's up from 77% the year before. So, in a way, that's very rewarding to know some of consumers who are typed as the most savvy and sometimes skeptical definitely see the value in this and are taking advantage of it. And I do think also part of it is just kind of the expansion of premium loyalty programs. Doordash just recently released Dash Pass. So it's moving into other areas which provide new opportunities for adoption and value.
Okay. There's an interesting there's definitely interest in premium loyalty programs. And one of the things that we see, we always like to kind of definition, understanding what premium loyalty means and traditional loyalty. Can maybe you talk about kind of the difference between what a premium loyalty program may be, what it looks like, and also what may be one of the best premium benefits that you've seen put into practice?
Sure. So premium loyalty programs, sometimes called subscription ones, are ones where you pay an annual or monthly fee to receive immediate benefits, versus a traditional one, which doesn't require an upfront fee, but often, requires you to make purchases, accumulate points over time, and then get your reward. Both are effective models. One the premium has that increased hurdle to be getting in the way of paying a subscription fee, but at the same time, consumers like because they get an immediate benefit versus having to save up over time and get that delayed gratification. Sometimes I hear people talk about one versus the other, almost as if they're in competition. And really, it's not an either or situation. Our latest research showed that 83% of consumers said that they would likely invest in a brand's premium loyalty program if they already were participating in the brand's traditional one. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. Brands are continuing to explore taking their traditional loyalty program and adding a premium one on top of it. And I think CVS is a great example of that. They offer Extra Care and Care Pass. So Extra Care is the traditional benefits. You sign up. There's no cost to it, and you get cash back when you use your card, and you get special discounts and stuff like that. But for CVS's top customers, Care Pass offers a variety of benefits. 20% off CVS health brands every day, $10 monthly reward. You get free same-day prescription delivery, 1 to 2 day shipping, and live pharmacy online. That one costs $5 a month versus the free one. So what's nice is it gives customers a choice, and which is important because different customers value different things. For CVS, there are a number of strategic reasons why they would add a premium loyalty program on top of the traditional free one. One example, the Premium One Care Pass offers free home delivery, and this allows them to better compete with Amazon, especially as Amazon continues to expand into the prescription drug space with the Amazon pharmacy. So to compete, CVS needs to offer a free delivery option, but that obviously costs money, and they can't give it to all CVS consumers. Conversely, not all CVS consumers want home delivery nor want to spend $5 a month. So having this two-tier approach is a great solution, offering different levels of benefits. So taking a step back, it's really critical for brands to examine their loyalty strategy and offer programs that cater to all customers. And sometimes that is two different types of programs. Sometimes it's obviously your one type of program, different tiers, targeted benefits, and that sort of thing. But I think CVS does a really good job of offering two clear levels of benefits and value to both groups.
And I think that's an interesting perspective, having that clearly defined benefit and delineation between the two. And when you look at premium versus traditional loyalty program, again, a lot of discussion within our membership community around that. What are some of the key indicators that a premium loyalty program is working? Because brands right now, they struggle with some of the technology they want to get to more personalized, more relevant offers, communications, engagement, but it can be a challenge. The technology may or may not work. But when you look at, what are some key indicators that premium programs are working for brands, and how they can substantiate that back to their CFO with regard to the efficiency and efficacy of the program?
Sure. So, obviously there's, your traditional program metrics, which really come down to what's the program objective. So a number of programs, it's active members, because it's a great way of indicating whether the program is providing sufficient ongoing value to its members. For others, it's incremental sales, increase in purchase frequency, those sort of things. And those are ones we measure within premium loyalty. Premium loyalty also has an additional kind of interesting metric in that it's a revenue source, a revenue stream for our clients, some of which greatly value. It literally can drop several millions of dollars to the bottom line. So whether it's the revenue or whether it's the ROI on it, that certainly plays an added role versus traditional. It's more about how do we manage the costs. Premium actually can unlock an incremental revenue stream that's meaningful, while also providing those other benefits of driving deeper engagement, incremental sales, purchase frequency, one-to-one relationships, and those sorts of things.
Oh, excellent. Are there some industries that are more kind of in tune to premium loyalty programs that we see more of them have more success, or can all entities have a premium or subscription program?
That's a great question. So I think when exploring whether a premium loyalty program is viable, I think it's got to pass the back of the envelope math test, meaning you're asking consumers to spend money to join, and the value that has to be readily apparent. It can't be a long math equation where I'm writing it down and tracking things, So does it pass that test? Does it provide my understanding of immediate value at a higher grade? And so I think brands really have to explore whether they can provide that value. Certainly retail is one that does very well in that. Amazon, you start off with Restoration Hardware is a no-brainer when you get the 25% discount for signing up, and what we all spend on at that store, it easily pays for itself. Best Buy Tool Tech makes sense if you're going to take advantage of the technology assistance that they offer, but some people don't need it. Doordash, as I mentioned earlier, is another one. So food service and home delivery is a great one. And obviously it's a really competitive space. So getting someone to pay a subscription, kind of creates that stronger connection and decreases brand switching, and eliminates that, once I pay that monthly fee, eliminates that cost, which makes me want to continue to go with them versus switch to Grubhub or Uber Eats. So definitely expands. AMC is another example of one with its movie perks, and great way to get people to go to the theater more and provide value there. And with increasing competition, is not just through theaters but at home entertainment. So it really can expand into other areas. But the key litmus test is, can I provide relevant, easily understood value to consumers? Because I'm asking for them to pay me money to be part of this. And if I can't show them that value very easily, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're not going to be successful. Fortunately, as I've showed just a few examples, many more where brands are discovering ways to provide that value back to consumers in exchange for that premium, which ultimately drives revenue to the brands, which allows them to better support these programs, deliver that value immediately back to consumers, and build that loyalty.
Okay, great. Now, virtual incentives, personalized virtual kind of rewards are growing in interest. A good deal of technology advances in the metaverse and in virtual reality. So it would seem that there's a great deal of potential with regard to virtual experiences. What are you seeing some of the trends in relation to these virtual experiences within the loyalty industry? What's working? What are the opportunities? What maybe is not working?
Yeah, no, I find the metaverse really interesting. And some people hear it and they immediately become skeptical of this is just a normal, your traditional marketing bandwagon trend. They hear something hot and they jump into it, and that's why they're participating. And there certainly is some value in showing that you're a progressive marketer, but really taking a step back, I think the metaverse offers some really intriguing, truly valuable opportunities to brands and marketers, whether that's in general marketing or in the loyalty space. And kind of I see it in two areas. The first is customer engagement. So as more and more consumers shop from home, brands lose those higher touch, immersive in-store experiences, which help build, a deeper level of loyalty or a closer relationship and trust with the brand. And so, the metaverse offers brands the opportunity to kind of virtually create a more immersive brand experience for those who aren't going into stores. And we see a wide range of brands doing this, and even higher end brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton are in the metaverse. And some early studies show that there's actually real value, not just this kind of fun game, but it actually translates into real hard dollar sales. Like one study showed that 70% of consumers who visit a virtual store actually made a purchase. So customer engagement, which is key to any marketing relationship, especially in loyalty, or that deeper one. Now we've got ways to deliver higher touch, more immersive experiences to those who are no longer going to the store. The second one is one that is often less talked about, but what I find really, really exciting, especially having worked on so many programs, loyalty programs. I know the biggest challenge, and I'm sure you do too, Mark, is how do we manage the budgets of these programs?
Yep.
I like to think of loyalty programs fail for one of two reasons. Either consumers don't get enough value, so they drop out, or the program becomes too expensive, and so brands have to shut it down. If you think about those two reasons, they're in opposition of each other. So brands are constantly walking this tightrope. And while growing a program and having millions of new members join is exciting, that costs money because oftentimes many rewards have a 1-to-1 ratio. More members, they redeem rewards, those rewards cost money, and so the budget goes up. What's great about virtual experiences, digital rewards, is that they're much more scalable. Basically oftentimes requiring a one-time investment with little to no variable costs on top of it. So the more people who take advantage of it, the more cost efficient it becomes. And on top of that, there's no shipping and handling, physical cost to it. There's no inventory management. And so the metaverse provides a really nice new way to provide kind of scalable digital assets and rewards benefits to program members. So a more recent example of that is last November with the premiere of Spider-Man No Way Home, AMC movie theaters offered to their premium loyalty program members who bought opening day tickets to Spider-Man. Anyone who bought opening day tickets up to the first 86,000 got these special edition collectible Spider-Man NFTs. So a great way to cost efficiently award its program members, instead of doing a bonus like bonus points or a free drink, those things actually cost money. So every single person who redeems it, there's an added cost. Working with their partner in Sony, developing an NFT for a highly interesting entertainment property like Spider-Man is desirable, but not costing that same way. giving out 86,000 free drinks may have been. What was really cool about it is, so it's cost efficient. It's an exciting way to call to action to members. It also provides a reason for me to go to AMC instead of a competing theater. But even beyond that, many of us today, because of kind of changes brought on by the pandemic, will wait to see a movie when it's available for streaming at home. But now this is an immediate call to action and a value and a reason for me to go to the theater on that opening day, and instead of kind of waiting and seeing. So a great cost-efficient asset, and a great differentiator because it's unique and no one else has it. So really cool versus having to give away 86,000 bonus points or free drinks or whatever it may be. So that's like a current example. But then your mind can't help but wander. And so I think of potential future experiences. And I was traveling recently, and I have a great love for hanging out in the Delta Lounge. And Delta Lounge costs money, and obviously airlines can't give it as a free benefit. But really, why do we go to a lounge? We go because we want to escape the craziness of the airport. We want to kind of entertain and relax ourselves in between flights. And this isn't crazy science fiction thinking, very possible to think of, could airlines offer, a virtual lounge for people to visit, and one that doesn't cost money, one that might be unlocked at a certain tier that you achieve. A virtual lounge is great because it doesn't cost, it's very scalable. It doesn't cost money per person who uses it. It doesn't have capacity constraint. Also, not all airports have have actual physical lounges. So this is a way to complement that. But, it's a way to offer, improved premium value to loyalty program members in a very scalable way that kind of complements what they're already doing. And so I just think of things like that, that might have sounded crazier 10 years ago, might sound a little crazy this year, but if you think about it, why wouldn't that make sense? And so from a consumer standpoint, they're interested in these things. In our survey, 65% of consumers indicated that they have an interest in engaging with a brand in the metaverse to unlock exclusive content. So it's not science fiction. It's here today. It's getting traction, and it's actually providing real value today. And brands should really think about how it applies to them and what makes sense to their members, their consumers. An NFT for Spider-Man makes sense because it's a great entertainment property, but that might not make sense for a brand with less cachet than that. But that doesn't mean that the metaverse doesn't offer value. You just have to think about how that value can apply to your brand and your consumers so that there's mutual value created.
Absolutely. Last question we have, personalization, segmentation, very important. Brands are very focused on that, either as kind of a stand beside or integrated in their customer loyalty program. We see a number of brands that are bringing up CDP type applications, automation type programs as kind of a stand beside the customer loyalty program. And we also see it more integrally integrated into the offering. How should brands' personalization and segmentation efforts tie into their customer loyalty program, their customer loyalty strategy? And can you give us an example of what's working within the industry?
Yeah, and obviously personalization isn't a new word. We all know that there's value in it, but oftentimes the biggest challenge in personalization is that it hinges on the ability to collect personal data and consumers' willingness to provide it. So both of which are getting a little more challenging today, as we have seen in a number of different areas. So to me, what makes a brand successful is the ability to collect their data omni-channel, and not just collect it, but also be able to connect the online and in-store, because disparate data leads to a disconnected experience for consumers, which frustrates them. But then the second part is creating frictionless data collection and use. So there's that, throwing up hurdles of surveys and self-reported feels like you're invasive and asking me to do work, which, there's value in it, but it's work and it's a little put off. So I think a brand that does a good job kind of tackling those two things, omni-channel, seamless collection, and frictionless is Sephora. And they do it in a number of different ways. The mobile app offers a virtual artist, which scans your face, matches skin tone, color, and stuff. But when you're trying on items, it's collecting that information. and storing it for you versus you having to note it and write it down. But even more cool than that is it's not just available online or in the app. It's when you go into the store, it'll tell you where to locate it. And so I've had many experiences going into Sephora and Ulta with my daughter. And those stores can be overwhelming, and knowing where to find something makes for a more seamless experience. And then in store to online, store associates in store will capture, products that they recommend during offering service to clients and connect that to that person's account so that then they can have it for future reference. They'll also share, videos related to it. So, taking that in-store experience where I might, get that high touch, great, customer service, but then, I head home and I forgot what I looked at. It's all there for me. So it's that seamless data collection, oftentimes through experience, through using the makeup app, the virtual artist app, or the in-store associate, just collecting it along the way, along the customer journey, and then storing it back in the profile for, not just value to Sephora to remarket to you, but actually providing real tangible value to myself. Those sorts of things are impressive. So I really like both how they seamlessly collect it and connect it from online, offline, and then create real value, not just to themselves, but to the consumer as well.
Okay, interesting. When you look at the kind of the industry, where do you think premium loyalty is going?
As I said, it continues to grow, and I think for two primary reasons. One, it provides immediate benefit and value to members because, we know that loyalty programs, the collecting of points and such over time can be fatiguing. Also, it provides a solution for brands that, not all brands are credit cards or travel where I spend lots of money. So it's harder for me as a brand to provide value back to you. So premium loyalty, because of it, the membership allows brands to give value immediately back. But then also it solves for brands the challenge of how to manage the economics of a program. Most every brand wants a loyalty program. Not every brand can afford a loyalty program. What premium loyalty does is it flips it from a cost to, as I said, like a revenue stream, where actually, in many cases, I'm actually generating positive money to my bottom line instead of taking away. So I definitely continue to see the growth as long as brands can solve that value equation to consumers. But also, like the CVS example, what I really like is that the creativity of brands and recognizing that it's not an either or, it's not a competition. It's of a complementary value and how you can take advantage of both. So I think that's the trend. And as we've seen year after year in the 4 years we've been doing it, adoption, interest, and use continues to grow.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. It was great hearing about the report on premium loyalty, and it's also great to get your perspective on what brands should be looking at, considering with regard to both personalization and when they start looking at or have an interest in premium loyalty as well.
Great. Always great talking to you, Mark. Have a good one.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you join us back again soon for another edition of Loyalty Live. Have a wonderful day.